Cars Channel News and Review Car.
(2017) Seat Leon CUPRA 300. The Seat Leon has been on the market for nearly 20 years and has evolved dramatically in the time. The third-gen model rolled onto the market in 2012, and for 2017, it was time for a much-needed facelift. With that facelift came an updated exterior, new exterior lighting units with LED strips, and a wider grille that now features a chrome surround to go with new wheel designs and some new color options. Inside, the facelifted model benefits from a new center console, an electric parking brake, and the addition of some new soundproofing for a quieter cabin. There was also the addition of a new infotainment system. There was a brand new 3-cylinder engine added to the engine lineup, but what we're really here to talk about is the new Leon CUPRA 300, which, as you probably guessed, now has 300 PS on tap, an improvement of 10 PS over the outgoing model. Torque has increased by 30 Nm on the 300, and the estate version even gets all-wheel drive. Nice. It should be noted that when Seat put together the facelift for the Leon, it was actually quite surprising to see the amount of work that went into it. Normally, the brand's facelifts, as with anything from the VW umbrella, are very mild with just enough to let you say, hey, there's something different there. But the facelift was quite extensive. Be that as it may, there isn't really much of a difference on the outside between the standard model on the CUPRA, but there's plenty of other stuff to talk about, so let's go over what comes standard on the new CUPRA, and why the new CUPRA is worth your consideration. The Leon's much-needed facelift brought a lot of geometric balance to the vehicle. Everything looks to be strategically planned and positioned exactly where it should be, there's nothing out of place. The new LED strips in the headlights are somewhat awkward with the high center point on the lower side, but it's not particularly hard on the eyes either. The radiator grille grew by 1.5 inches in width and now gets a richer chrome surround to help the car stand out in the crowd. Down below, there's a wider air dam to go with larger corner inlets that also serve as a home for the LED fog lights. Around back, there's a new tail light layout with LED lights to go with a revised decklid and rear fascia. To be honest, the Leon actually looks a little better than the VW Golf it is based on. In terms of the CUPRA 300, there really aren't any details on the exterior that will separate it from non-CUPRA variants. There will, of course, be CUPRA badging, but there won't be anything else in the way of more aggressive looks or extra aerodynamics. Then again, this is a hot hatch and an estate that we're talking about, so what really matters is the overall design, not the little bits and pieces. And that's okay, as the facelifted Leon is actually pretty aggressive as it is. That front fascia, in particular, is actually pretty damn menacing for something that is in any way related to VW, plus the body lines are in all the right places. To be honest, the Leon actually looks a little better than the VW Golf it is based on. The new CUPRA benefits from the new center console with an electronic parking brake and the advanced sound insulation to cut down on noise bleed-through from the road. But that's not all. It also gets the updated media system, plus that pairs an 8-inch screen with a connectivity hub that includes inductive cell phone charging, and a GSM antenna amplifier in case you find yourself in an area with shoddy cellular reception. Features like Seat Full Link and the Seat Connect app should also carry over, bringing voice recognition and gesture control into the fold. Not a bad way for Seat to up the ante, huh? There isn't really anything that makes the CUPRA stand out, but that's okay because the standard cabin is a very nice place to be. But it's not all about technology when it comes to the Leon or the CUPRA 300, specifically. There isn't really anything that makes the CUPRA stand out, but that's okay because the standard cabin is a very nice place to be. It's nowhere near as geometrically dominant inside, but it has character in all the right places. The door panels are pretty plain Jane with flat armrests that run the length of the doors and house the window and mirror controls as well as the pull handle. There's a small storage pocket down below with a speaker housing up front. The instrument cluster and infotainment system share a contrasting bezel that matches the face of the center console and VAC controls. The seats might not be sport seats, but they do offer a decent stitching pattern and decent bolsters for support during more spirited driving. Of course, that will happen more often in the 3-door hatch, but it's not out of the question in the 5-door or estate. Before we move on, however, it's only fair to mention the plethora of driver assist systems that come with the CUPRA 300. To start off, you'll get traffic jam assist, lane assist, adaptive cruise control, and pedestrian protection. There is, of course, the electric parking brake, but you also get what Seat calls KESI, which stands for keyless entry and start. Then, for those who like to play a little, there's also dynamic chassis control to go with a progressive steering system and an electronic, self-locking differential. Finally, the CUPRA Drive profile brings the option to select 4 different driving modes depending on your mission each time you sit in the driver's seat. Comfort obviously softens things up to give the most comfortable ride, while Sport will tighten things up to reduce body roll when cornering at higher speeds. Seat didn't divulge specific information about CUPRA mode, but it does say that it takes the driving experience to another level. And there's individual mode, which allows you to create your own custom settings and dial things in just the way you like. You can't argue with that, can you? This is where we get to the real news. The CUPRA has had a pretty long history, given the age of the Leon. The CUPRA 300 replaces the CUPRA 290, which in turn had replaced the CUPRA 280. If you haven't noticed the trend, Seat manages to squeeze out just a little more power from each new CUPRA model. As has always been the case, the CUPRA 300 gets an extra 10 PS over the model it replaces. To be more specific, the 2.0-liter TSI engine under the hood delivers a cool 300 PS and 380 Nm of torque. For those of you here in the US, that translates to 295 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of 9 horsepower and 22 pound-feet over that CUPRA 290. That 280 pound-feet of torque, by the way, is available from 1,800 revolutions per minute to 5,500 revolutions per minute, which is pretty impressive. Seat has yet to say anything about what handles shifting duties, but in other VW sub-brands, the same 2.0-liter can be found with either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed DSG, so it's quite possible that both will be options in the near future. For the record, you can find different variations of this 2.0-liter in the Skoda Octavia VRS, Volkswagen Golf R, and the Golf GTI, among others. The 2.0-liter TSI engine under the hood delivers a cool 300 PS and 380 Nm of torque.